Good evening, everybody. Happy Tuesday. My name is Janie Daly. I am your psychic life coach. I'm also a nurse. I'm also a huge animal advocate and an advocate for seniors. So, what we are going to do, actually, there's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. The one being the main thing is that um, messages from the other side. Hello, Miss Renee and Dawn. How are you guys doing? I had to run out, take the dog outside really quick. Whew. Ladies, well, good. Thank you for joining me live. And thank you to all of you that will be listening later. But anyway, again, I'm Janie Daly. I'm going to ask you all to please hit subscribe, like, and share. I really, really, really need this channel to grow. Um, I am looking to do TikTok. Again, I'm trying to figure it out. But anyway. So as you all know, I do readings. If you want to have a session with me, you can send me a text message. You can contact me on Facebook or through Facebook Messenger or through my email, which is janiedaly@gmail.com. Oh, and I should mention too that tonight I have invited all of you, but also any beings who would like to have like a little flash appearance. They are more than welcome as well, because we're going to talk about messages. We're going to talk about messages from the other side. Hello, ladies. Miss Jeannie, Miss Karen. It's nice. I really wish that I could do this, like have an office again, because it would be so nice, like afterwards to have like some coffee, whatever, and just kind of hang out a little bit and have fun. What I do want to do, though, I do want to put this out there. If anybody is having issues with hauntings, I shouldn't do it like that, but some people, they're like really scared, and rightfully so. But if you do feel that you have true hauntings, you and the kids don't feel comfortable, then contact me. Okay. I'm going to tell you this, and there's a lot of people that'll say, oh, don't listen to her. Follow your common sense, hence your sixth sense. The way that I look at it is you have a spirit who was in your house. And let's say you're like, but we're the only people that have owned this house. So, there's not going to be anybody else. Not true. Because they could have had a nice little land. They could have been settlers, Indians. They had tents, or they had little cottages that they built. So imagine this. Imagine yourself. You're in your house, and it is 100 years from now. And you have these youngsters moving in. They've got this loud, crazy music going on. Kids that are just off the chart, especially if you were somebody who kept a nice house. And they're saying to their friends, well, you start to get mad. So you're like, you know what? This is ridiculous. And you slam a door and they hear it. You're kind of like, good. It scared them. Maybe they'll stop misbehaving then. But instead, husband goes to a shop, comes back with some sage, and says, here you go. We'll use this. Oh, and let's also get somebody else who's going to come in and help us with this. So now remember, you're not touching anybody. You're not hurting anybody. You're just basically, you're frightening them because according to you, they've moved into your home. So imagine now you have smoke going in your eyes and up your nose, and they're saying, get out now. I demand that you get out. You're not going to be happy. Here, they thought slamming doors was bad. I always say this. When you move to a new place, no matter where it is, always ask for Archangel Michael to, of course, to bless your place and to keep angels overwatch for the place and for all the people involved. And say, if there is anybody here, we can live in peace. I just don't want any bad things, especially for my family. um, you can work together. And you guys, I have seen situations, I have heard of true stories where they have actually worked with the other side, has actually worked with people in, on the side. Um, but there's a couple things I would like you guys to think about doing all the time. First thing is breathing. Breathing is so important. Here's a way that might be, because you're supposed to like breathe from the abdomen, pull it in, pull it up and then exhale. But here's another way you can do it. Take your finger, put it on one side of your nostril, breathe in, and then go to the other nostril. It's in and out. Do it like 3 times. And it's good cleansing breath. It's just, and you can feel it, it's like air, clean air going through. Okay, so another thing that you can do, and if you feel weird doing it, whatever. I mean, it's fine. But you make sure in the morning when you get up, you make sure that your ears are kind of free from wax, especially if you can't hear well. You're thinking, I must have, wax. So you get something to clean the wax. Same with your eyes. If your eyes are blurry vision, whatever, scratchy, especially with allergy season, you get some eye drops. Well, the third eye, real important. Third eye, right here. Okay, right here. The third eye will help you. It does help you to see things. It also helps your other 2 eyes because it's like a triangle, The third eye, you clean it. Imagine like a tiny little fan. Those fans that like people wear around their neck and it's like blowing on them. Imagine that you've got a little fan here, okay? And just imagine it like going round and round. First clockwise, okay? First clockwise. And then just taking your hand and breathing, of course, and just envisioning that the fans are swirling all around. The little fans are swirling and swirling. And with your hand, what you're helping to do is take off that dirt and get it moving so that it's moving off. Okay. You will find that the dirt's flying off. And then do a counterclockwise. Okay. Because you want those blades completely cleared. All right. You do with that. Done. And I use hand sanitizer. And now you're ready to go. So we need to start doing this. Hello, Miss Megan. Welcome. We are going to do this at the beginning of everything. I mean, because I feel like we also, the chakras, the crown chakra is pretty nice to do, but the third eye really does help you to see things. The third eye is largely responsible in you being able to see things, like see images, because seriously, with messages, it is sent to you in the form of pictures. So, and I used to always wonder why, like my whole life, people are like, Janie, come in and play Pictionary. And I'm like, I don't like Pictionary. I'm horrible at Pictionary. And even the kids, like nobody would want me on their team. I was fun, but I was horrible at Pictionary. We'll come to find out because trying to describe what the other side is showing me, it's Pictionary. So I'm like, great. And that's why, a little secret, I do ask, look, if I get stuck, can you just tell me or show me the word, spell it, So all of you have a sixth sense. All of you do. Remember, sixth sense goes with the 5 senses. And you could look at the sixth sense as the icing on your cake. You got your 5 layers, okay, of the cake, different colors. And then you get beautiful white, purple, and different color gold sprinkles. That's your sixth sense, okay? It helps the 5 senses. I like to say that God gave me those senses. So when I say it like that, there's 6. There's not just 5. So remember, all 6 senses. It doesn't go to the devil. It really doesn't. Goes to God. Anyway, I don't want to press any religious beliefs, but I will say it is important to have faith. And you choose your faith. And I'm telling you also, I'm not going to get in tangents about this, but it's important to have faith because I am going to share something with you that will validate to you that, yeah, they're definitely, it's good and evil. There's both. And sometimes, this is so not even funny or nice. Sometimes with those of us that have been married a couple times, yeah, we were mistaken. I'm sorry. I am inappropriate with joking. But anyway, no, seriously though, sometimes we can be mistaken or misled. Okay, so and I don't like to say evil because I feel like everybody has bad and good within. But I'd like to say people who don't have our best of intentions or beings that don't have our best of intentions because they don't. Okay, so getting messages from the other side. For confidentiality reasons, as you all know, I am very confidential with with who you are and your readings, of course. Um, I will, and that's why I really need to get like a website or even like update my Facebook. But I am like so crazy about confidentiality, which as you see, I work off of referrals. I work off of referrals only. And I have been for 30 years now. Um, it's amazing because your loved ones will refer me. And I'm not trying to sound cocky or anything, but I'm just going to give you an example. Okay, I do believe that there's a lot of people that can receive gifts from their loved ones that have passed. To understand when they pass, when your loved one passes, it's a happy time for them. It's happy. They're going to a family reunion. They're seeing everybody they haven't seen and people they so missed when they weren't here on earth. So, and there is a moment where they don't understand. Like they'll look at you and they expect like all of their family here to be like, yay, yay, we'll miss you, but we're so excited for you. Have fun and save me a spot. They look for that. But then when they look and they see, wait a minute, why is he or she crying? Then they have to be reminded. And that is true. Okay. And I get a lot of my information from people that have passed. I get a lot of information in God dreams. I get a lot of information in research. And then, of course, I ask for validation. And I always get validation. And for those of you who know me, I am very scientific. I'm so scientific. I'm probably too anal with being scientific. But, I teach it. And for those of you that are teachers, people don't care about opinions. They don't. I mean, especially in this day and age. You can't state your opinion. It'd be dangerous. But the other side of that is I don't expect you to believe what I believe. I mean, I'll share it with you, but that's not why you're coming to talk to me, though. You're coming to talk to me to see what God's saying and to see what your deceased loved ones are saying. So, in order for me to be good at what I do, a lot of training. And I'm only saying that now because just about everybody can receive messages. There are some of us, though, we are like Whoopi Goldberg in that movie. There's a light and it's like a lighthouse. I'm like a lighthouse where it flashes, come on over, and it's crazy because I have a portal here. And the story that I had shared with you 2 months ago, when that bolt of blue light came in my apartment, went around, and I'll do the camera another time. I'll show you what happened. But it went to where I could see people leaving. they come in down that way. It's through like the bathroom areas in the back, and they leave by the door. Well, that blue ball of, it wasn't a ball, it was like it looked like a stick, and it traveled like this way, But then when it got to where my portal is, I have a little dresser there. Well, it went this way then. Sorry, it went this way, and it went up and down, up and down. And then it went back to being like this again, went like around there, around in front of the kitchen, in front of the TV, and out the door. So, of course, Ellie's sitting there watching it too. So I did the usual. I look at her, I go, so you saw it too. And then that was it. Then we go and we explore. But I follow her because I'm interested to see, because I'm sure she can see a lot more than I do. She went to that bookcase. She went everywhere. She followed the direction that it went in, but she spent a little more time at that bookcase because she was curious. Why did it look up and down? So it was really interesting. But anyway, I am not afraid of stuff like that. I'm not afraid. So, hello, Miss Merle. You guys, welcome, and thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining all of us. But I'm not afraid of this kind of stuff. I actually am. I love it. I absolutely love it. But I protect myself. And I'm saying that because there's people that dabble and they don't know what they're doing. Like kids. Like, again, I was never exposed to any of that when I was a child. And my mother has passed, and my mom could make it possible for me to not be exposed. But when you don't understand, and I'm going to put the next thing, which is really important. If you have no faith and you are an atheist, I don't recommend. I recommend then you try to close that door or just deal with it on just a regular level. Say some kind of a prayer, something for a prayer of protection, something for protection. You have to protect yourself. You have to. But when your loved one comes to you, and when I'm thinking of this one gentleman who I met the other day. So when he came to me, he had two things that he wanted his loved one to know. Just two main things. I mean, obviously they talk about like, the love. Oh, the love and the wonderful things. And they'll throw in some jokes. They will also throw in things that, I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known. But the one thing is, you're not in control of that. They are. Same here. I'm not in control of it. Oh, so which is kind of nice because some people have done this. Some deceased people have done this. Testing. When I was in college, I had to go to the special room for testing because I'm so ADHD. And just the idea of the pressure of a test was like, it was a lot. It was a whole lot. So people then will, and this doesn't happen often, but they'll say, well, I said one thing to my loved one. What was it? That to me, that's a test. And I like shut down. So here's the thing with that though. You can have that in your head. You can mentally say it to the one who passed away. Just tell her mentally. Just tell her, show her a picture. Let her know that I want to know it. Or that it really means something to me, that I know it, that I hear it from her. They will. More than likely, they will. But if you have somebody who's like kind of a little, doesn't like to be told what to do, because I met somebody like that one time. He's like, He laughed and he said, she told me what to do after our whole marriage. She's not going to tell me now. And it's like, okay. But anyway, but yes. And I think that way is better too, because I don't know, you are communicating, they hear you. But your loved one will come to you and will talk to you. You just have to listen. That's the biggest thing. A lot of talking is good for if you're talking to, like, I have friends that I just talk, but I end up being able to come to my own conclusions because when I'm talking, I'm getting it out. And then it's like, oh, okay, then it makes sense to me. And, the dear friends are just like, they just listen. So that is good, but that doesn't work if you want to communicate with your loved ones. You have to listen. You have to, don't think of the next things you're going to say. Don't think of what you have to do later. Ask. And if you are the kind of person that you feel like you're blocking and you can't hear things, then just say, you could say to your loved one, look, in the morning, you could be doing the dishes saying, like, or no, in the morning, before you get out of bed, you can be saying like, look, my loved one, just, I need to know, like, tell me something today that you feel I need to know in order to heal, in order to move on. And then say, just, I always say this too, talk to me like I'm 5. So really break it down for me, but just let me know. And if there's anything else that you need me to know, please show me. And they're good at that. They know to show pictures. And some of them will, there's ways, trust me, they will let you know. You'll find out. So you could even like be sitting there like in the bed and just listening, like asking the question and say, and you could feel your person around you, but you can't make out what they're trying to say. That's okay. You get up, make yourself some breakfast. You go in to clean the dishes. And all of a sudden, you get an idea about dating. And it's like, no. What's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. You asked your loved one, who in this case was a husband or a mate, what it is that he thinks you should do in order to get over. And he's telling you, dating. Yeah, you have to be open. You have to believe. You've got to believe. And then ask. And then receive. Some people, they say, no, it's ask, believe, receive. No, you can ask anything to anybody, but you got to believe. Because when you believe, you're also picturing that person in your mind, which is sending a message. Because that's how people, they don't talk on the other side. It's telepathy. You can even try it on your animals. Just think something, look at them, send them a message, thinking they get it. So do we. That's how, like, all of a sudden we'll call each other just out of the blue, and then the person will say, oh my gosh, I was just thinking of you. Well, I must have thought that too, because I felt inclined to make a call to you. So, but by listening to your loved ones, again, you've got to, like, your way of thinking has got to go out the window, because everybody has their ways of doing things. And you guys, I'm working on something for dating. I'm really working on something for dating. And it's kind of like dating. It is almost identical to dating in a sense. Sometimes you have to leave the control. Seriously, you have to leave the control. You can ask your angels, and ask for the name of your angel. It's funny because when we had this conversation last week, I kept seeing the name Agnes. Well, I know that Agnes was very prevalent in my life, and somebody else in here has an Agnes, but Agnes was very prevalent then, which like I kept seeing her name. So I'm like, okay, all right, Agnes, I know you're here. I know you're here. Thank you for being here. So, oh yeah, I made like little notes of like, for you, like, get to know yourself. You have to know yourself too, because you may feel the hair on the back of your neck stand up when your loved one is standing right next to you. Just if you want to connect, remember this too. Your loved one has left here. Okay, your loved one has left here. Let's see, Miss Jeannie. Okay, so Miss Jeannie, yeah, there you go. Oh, Jennifer came to me dressed in white and so happy. Yeah, well, exactly. That's what I was just going to say. So, Jennifer had a life here. She left in her 50s, early 50s. She left. Yeah, she left in her early 50s. And she was satisfied with her life. She was satisfied, you know? But she got ill and she went home early. Well, her mom, of course, was devastated. I mean, you guys, that's something too. When we talk about this kind of stuff, those kind of words don't even have to be spoken. That goes without being said. The loss of a child is the child, a husband, anybody that's very close to you, parents. Oh my gosh. I used to hear as a child, it's like having a hole in your heart. And I don't know. I feel like the thing of it is with that, those we're so connected. We are all they are not gone. They're not gone. And that's what Jeannie understands. Yeah, she was 49. That's what Jeannie understands. She understands that her daughter is not gone. Her daughter gives signs all the time. When with her ex-husband, if he did something he wasn't supposed to be doing, Jennifer would tell on him and bad things would happen. And so I'd say, oh, he must be doing something again. And sure enough, she'd go, Wayne, what are you doing? And it was something not good. But she was there with her. But remember, you guys, the whole point of life is soul perfection. And we don't get that here. Nothing's perfect here. You're never, ever, 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 ever going to do perfection here. Never. No matter how hard you try. Besides, your definition of perfection may not be mine, and vice versa. The goal is kindness. That's the goal. That's huge. Kindness. I don't know. I heard in one of my dreams, it was like doing, I don't know, like going for your review and seeing that you did something really major career-wise. And of course, you're proud of that. But then instead, you're being shown a picture of when it was really hot outside, you were really busy, and a senior had fallen down on the ground. And that's the picture that was shown to you. That picture. They look at kindness, acts of kindness. So, and everybody has grouchy days. Everybody does. We all do. But remember, I'm a positive person. Good things happen to me. I'm a positive person, and positive things happen to me. You can curse. You can do that. Again, smile. Positive affirmations. It tricks the brain into thinking you're happy. But if you raise your voice and you get upset and the brow furrows and, mouth is going down to like then you're telling the brain that you're very upset. So there's so much stuff that you can do like for yourself. But your loved one is moving on. They don't leave because remember, we're all interconnected. But there are times it's kind of like they do their thing on the other side, right? And they watch over you, of course. But there comes a time too when they're actually being prepared. If they so choose to go for another life, then they are preparing for that life too. You guys, like, especially with kids, we love our children. We do. Well, everybody here does. I know that. I watch some of these shows and it's just like, but anyway, we love our children. And the goal is take care of, you nurse those little baby birds, you nurse them. And when they fall out of the nest, you go down, make sure no wings are broken. You bring them on back up, you feed them, you take care of them, you weather the storms. But then when they're of age, fly. Little bird, fly. Yeah. It can be lonely when your kids are successful because they have their own lives. And that's okay because that's what we do. So, yeah, it continues. It continues. And like even like so you say to your child, I mean, because I lost a child, but and it's Jeannie, when you said your dream, I thought of my mom because I was sad, obviously, but I had a visitation where she was dressed in flowing white and she held him in her arms and she looked at the baby and then she looked up at me with like love on her face. So I knew that my little baby boy was fine and I didn't worry. But they are not, they try to talk to you and sometimes maybe you don't want to hear the messages, but they always love us. Our loved ones always love us, always. That goes without saying. But you don't want to like overdo it either. Because my life is a little different. Actually, it's a lot different. I had a very hard time working out in the business world. I really did. I had a very, very hard time. First, I'm shocked. I'm like shocked, especially like when I would see like people demonstrating in Washington, women and wearing those hats, when women sticking together. There have been some women that I have worked with. I will always have those wonderful, special memories in my heart. Always. Because some of these people that I have worked with have been phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. But then there's some, it's like, and I'm not allowed to judge. I'm not allowed to judge. And it's hard sometimes. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I look at my Jesus picture, I go, I failed this test too, huh? Because it's women like are not nice to each other. It's crazy. Oh my gosh. It's like this too. Me and a male nurse. Guess who gets catered to? And when I say catered, like, oh, did you need any help? Oh, here, I can help you do this. Meanwhile, I'm struggling, with somebody who's a lot heavier and bigger than me. And like, I'm going, do you think maybe you can help me? Well, I can't right now. Okay. Not kidding. Not kidding you. I, ladies, please change that. Please change it. Because I will tell you that those of you that are like me, you won't be able to deal with it. You won't be. Or you'll be on heavy meds. But that only, no, that's not a good idea. But people like us again who have a heavy sixth sense, and we can talk to deceased loved ones. We are more sensitive. We are a lot more sensitive. Although, you know, I like to consider myself, I shouldn't say it, but I'm going to. I like to consider myself kind of a badass. You know what I mean? I'm not any kind of like, oh, I'm so scared. No, not at all. Yeah, fear is not my thing, but I don't spend a lot of time because I have a dear friend too who keeps inviting me down to her home, which is so, her and her family are phenomenal. But I'm always like, yeah, I know. But I am kind of like I'll go out, do readings, and I want to start doing like public speaking and workshops and that kind of thing. And I feel what happens is I feel like God puts me in a position where right now I'm getting rest because I'm going to be really, really busy. So, and that's what has happened before in the past. It was kind of like you need to rest up because you are going to be busy. And in order to get messages, you guys, you've got to be like open and clear and ready to go. But it's also for protection. That's the other thing, too. Before starting this, I did ask that Archangel Michael come around us and protect all of us. I did want to talk about exit points before it gets too late. Okay, so I was taught that there were 7 exit points. And you could be at an exit point. And for instance, I'll give you an example. You could be, I was just talking to somebody the other day who was in a horrific car wreck. Horrific. And she had just bought a brand new car. And then the next day, I think she said somebody T-boned her and she flipped and the car turned over and she was literally hanging upside down and they had to cut her out of the car. Somebody like that, if that was her exit point, she wouldn't be here today. She would have gone home. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, because that is where you're kind of playing a game of chance. But with the exit points, yeah, if you're not, and then you've seen other people that, oh my gosh, they missed a curve or, they missed a curve. Yeah. And they go straight instead and hit a tree. Well, and they pass away. And it's like, how? How? Doesn't make sense. But it does if it's an exit point. So when I started doing, no, this was before I started doing this work. I used to get the kids we would go to nursing homes, and in this case, it was a nursing home. It was in Key Hospital, the one on Eastern Avenue. I forget the name of it. But yeah, so it was Christmas time. And I called ahead and I said, do you have people in there who don't have family? Nobody comes to visit them. They said yes. So the kids and I, we bought some gifts, wrapped them up, and then went to visit. So, and the people were just so wonderful. I'm actually going to do that again this year. I'm going to do that this year. But there was a lady there, you guys. There was a lady who, I think the story went is that she had partied hard, but tried to go home, so to speak. I have to watch how I say it on YouTube. Well, she didn't go home. She ended up being in a coma. So I asked, like, do people come to visit her? And she said they did in the beginning, but they stopped because they felt that she couldn't hear them, whatever, which that isn't true. They always hear you, always. So, like, don't stop visiting somebody because you think that, or when somebody tells you that, don't listen to it. Um, but anyway, so yeah, she's like, she was done, apparently done with life. But we don't always, that's not always our decision. Now, as weird as this may sound, upon seeing that, I wasn't doing this work yet. But you know what? Taught me a lesson, taught me a big lesson. And it's been one that I've been sharing for at least 40 years. 40 years. Yeah. Because so many people think, oh my gosh, you guys, have you seen, like, I think it's called like Living on the Streets? And there's one for Baltimore City. Oh my gosh. He's another one. He's another example. This guy's had all kinds of cancer. He's an addict. He was homeless, but he also tried to do things because he'd had enough. And he, with a, can I spell it? With a Gun. And he, oh gosh, in the upper face area, he survived. He survived. You guys, I'm gonna record it and keep it, and I would love to, like, show it, because unbelievable. He survived, and he shares his story. He does share his story. Apparently now he has pancreatic cancer. But you guys, he's like the Energizer, the Duracell boy or something. And I'm not saying that to be like, I'm not making fun. Please always know that. That's not part of me ever. But it's like, oh my gosh, he's amazing. But the kids, a lot of people would pick on him. He said, and like throw stuff at him and do horrible things. And, but it's because they were scared. They were scared. Life scares people. So make sure, please listen to when somebody's talking to you. Because it's like I said earlier, when my friends let me just get everything off my chest, I feel so much better. I've come to my own conclusion. And of course, they will give me their opinions, obviously. And I respect that. The other thing is, and this is huge, if there is something about your friends, your family, that it's inhibiting them from moving forward, tell them. Because if nobody says anything, then you don't know. So I definitely, but the biggest thing is listening. Definitely listening. Let's see. Oh, and I should say this also. You can always come to me, because I love the mediumship. Because the neat thing too, I have a note here. I was like, oh, so when we have a session, like, if you don't believe me, then you can ask. Well, here's the thing too. Oh, and I tried to tell somebody this the other day. I should put it this way. When you become one of my clients, then I have you in my data. So if I have a message from your deceased loved ones or from God himself, you'll hear from me. And it'll just be a little, hey, just seeing how you are. Just wanted to stop by and say hello and checking in on you. But know when I'm doing that, that's a God message. It's not just me. And hey, trust me, I can't keep up with my own messages. But I've learned to do as I'm told. And it never fails. It never fails. that people that I reach out to, that I'm actually told to reach out to, have all needed assistance. So listening is key. And what are they going to show you? I want to do a sign there for this week. So a sign for this week, but I don't want to do like, because they're showing me like hummingbirds, but then they're showing me something else and I don't know what it is. I know the newest thing has been the dragonflies. Oh, come on. What are the little birds? I saw this little bird that was just sitting there today and just staring at me. But that's not it. Oh, yeah. Like those balloons, it's like those birthday balloons that we're not supposed to use anymore or something. Them. And like randomly, like outside. So that's going to definitely be a sign, like a random, what are they called? It begins with an X. Yeah, there's, they're the gas balloons. Oh, also hot air balloons. Oh, so like, it's kind of like this week. It's Myler. Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Yes, this week it is balloons. Balloons will be the sign this week. So they're saying the balloons of all kinds, especially like there's something with the hot air balloons. And then, of course, dragonflies, because that's been like hot this week. Did you guys have any questions? Oh, you guys too. Like I said, I am working on the relationship. Again, I don't know if I'll be able to do it on YouTube because it's going to be entitled like How to Be a Bitch in 3 Easy Steps. But last Sunday morning, a hot air balloon crashed right out front of Kim's front door. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's crazy. Well, there you go. There's a sign for you, Karen. Yeah, I haven't thought of like hot air balloons in a long time. They're so pretty. Yeah, that is crazy. There you go. Somebody from your family speaking out again, Miss Karen. Her dad is very vocal. It's funny too, because I mean, I want to just put this in your mind just for a second. So envision this. So one of my sessions yesterday, I am cleaning lunch, just washing out like some little dishes. And all of a sudden I have this gentleman appear because I can feel the energy on the left side of me and says, I just have 2 things. So I'm like, okay, go ahead. So he told me the 2 things that he wanted me to say to his wife. And he was very sincere about it. And he was very sure about it. So, and sometimes it seems like, really? It always works out. Always. I do have someone who was told she couldn't have children. And I was like, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. And she's pregnant. She's pregnant now. But anyway, but with your readings, we do cover that. You guys also, I am starting to do like the recorded angel card readings. So I will record it, show the card, obviously, record it, and then send it to you. Second one she has seen outside of a house. Really? Oh, wow, Karen, that's crazy. That's crazy. But you guys, and again, if anybody has a house and you're having problems in it, just let me know. Your parents. Oh, yeah. I know. There, oh my gosh. Well, Bel Air is super haunted. I just remember like when I lived in Bel Air, I couldn't like as soon as I would get onto Old Hartford Road, I was like relieved. And I felt like a weight was off of me. Oh my gosh. But I have seen Indians in Hartford County, you guys. Where is it? Up by, is it 36? 36? There's a bar, the Lodge, and like that street of Churchville. And then if you take a left, and then there's a stream down there. Oh my gosh, you guys. I know the cool thing, I actually saw ladies like at the river and they had some kind of tool or something in their hand and they're like scrubbing like clothes. And I was like, I'm looking like, why would people be doing that now? And then I'm thinking, wait, didn't they do that in the old days? But then I look a little harder and I see they're kind of transparent. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. But then there was one night, oh my gosh, it's when I had a bad habit of smoking. We were at somebody's place who had a house on the water there. Yeah, 136. That's it, 136. What is the name of that water there? The house is beautiful and it was right there on the water. It was so pretty. But anyway, they're all down there and he's like, oh yeah, well, get me some too when you get some. Okay. So I'm like, da 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 da. So I go up to my car. And before I could get to the door, there is this huge, huge, very attractive Indian man, black hair, wore it like back. He did have like headdress on. Yeah, and like not a shirt, but something else that he had on. I don't know. I was just so amazed that A, he just appeared. B, I just wanted to go get some cigarettes, but I had this huge Indian man there and he wasn't smiling. So that was one of those times I was like, Archangel Michael, you want to like hang out with me right now? So I just said to him, I was like, to the Indian man, I go, hi. And he did not smile back. So I was like, And then I called Archangel Michael. And then I looked at him again. I go, so you're really not going to smile? And he just had he just had his hands folded. So I was like, oh, I guess that's a no. So then I go to open the door. I go, do you want any cigarettes? And I go, never mind. I know that was a good question. And then he was gone. But he was he was right there in front of me, right there in front of me. Bynum Run, that doesn't sound like it. Because there's actually, when you're on that road on 136, like heading out further, there's like a little bridge, a peace pipe. I was just amazed at seeing this, like, oh, and I should mention, right? I should mention that here, like, I look around to see if anybody is maybe thinking anything's okay, because you'd think they noticed my car hasn't left the spot. So nobody checked. I could have been kidnapped by an Indian. Nobody would have known. That would have been neat there to see the other side, another dimension. Anyway, sorry. Not cigarette. Yeah, that was back in the day. Back in the day of cigarette smoking. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Again, if you can refer this channel, if you could share it, like it, and subscribe, I would so appreciate it. Seriously. And I will keep you posted because I'm working on a lot of things. Again, I'm definitely working on the dating. The dating thing is a must. The other thing, I have like so much, and I think that's the problem. The other thing is the life resume to help those of you who, and I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you are in your 50s or, whatever, 50s and above, if you are not happy with what you're doing, it's important to find something that you like. Also, the biggest thing, your loved ones that have passed, just because they are starting something also, because they've gone home, of course, they're waiting for you. Of course, they're going to welcome you, but they do watch over you. They really, I promise you, they really, really do. Seriously. You got to believe me on that. They will give you signs all week, signs, and share them. Come back next Tuesday and share them. All right, you guys. I love you all. And I thank you all so much for joining me here. And I thank for those that are listening. Oh, Megan, thank you. Perfect. I look forward to it. All right, you guys. Have a good night. I love talking to you, Megan. So wait a minute, what's this? Wait, I don't know what I'm doing, you guys. I still can't get this technology. It's so annoying. Love you. Good night. Oh, good night, Renee, Dawn, Miss Jeannie, Karen, Miss Jerry. Oh, Miss Jerry. Oh my gosh, I wanted to focus on Miss Jerry for a minute too. Oh my gosh. Miss Dawn, did I mention everybody? I'm sorry. I was just thinking of something with Miss Jerry, with Jerry. She's definitely, wait, I'm just gonna say it really quick. Jerry, you're like such an old soul, and you are related to somebody in here. Yeah, you're related to somebody in here. Let me think on it, and you all think on it.